it back to February the 5th. That's when we had interviewed the co-founder of Unacademy, Gaurav Munjal. Here he is on Startup Central. It's a throwback moment. Congratulations to the entire team at Unacademy, raising $110 million, including by Facebook. It marks Facebook's second investment in the Indian startup ecosystem. First one was Misho. Also joining the bandwagon is General Atlantic as well as Sequoia. Here's our throwback to Unacademy and all that it's up to. I'm now going to put the spotlight on an EdTech startup making waves. Here's Unacademy and the founder Gaurav Munjal joining us right here on Startup Central. Gaurav, good evening. Thanks so much for being a part of Startup Central. I can see you're a fan of Apple. And incidentally, Gaurav is also a fanatic when it comes to the Harry Potter series. We understand all his meeting rooms are named after the Harry Potter characters. So first up, Gaurav, which is your favorite character?
I call my CEO's office as Dumbledore's room. So I've been a fan of Harry Potter, read all the books. So I think when we were making our first office around 2 years back in 2017, we made it into the Harry Potter theme. And the recent office, which we just opened in Bangalore, follows the same theme. So now it has become an important part of our organization. All the meeting rooms are from either Harry Potter locations or characters.
Okay, that's a really fun thing to do as well, where you're combining passion and your workplace. But if I could now talk to you about Unacademy, a massive success. Tell us about this EdTech startup, how you began it all, the journey so far.
See, Unacademy started back when I was in college as a side project where I started making videos, and then my friend Roman also joined and he started making videos. And at some point when I was doing my other startup called FlatChat, which was acquired by Common Floor, Unacademy on the side was getting a lot of views where Roman and I were creating content. So it was just a YouTube channel where two of us were teaching. I was teaching computer science, he was teaching for the IAS exams, for the UPSC exam. And at some point, the YouTube channel had become one of the largest educational YouTube channels in the country, whereas it was a side project run by the two of us. And we realized if we can empower more people to start teaching who never thought they would be teachers. For example, Roman and I never thought we would be teachers. If we can empower more people to start teaching, that could create a massive impact. So I think Unacademy started as a platform for teachers to create free content and for learners to consume. And recently, last year, we launched our paid model, the Unacademy Plus subscription, where we saw that a lot of users for our free content really were coming to crack these examinations. And we launched a separate product for them where they could subscribe to, for example, UPSC, and then that would give them everything that they need to crack that examination. And we did that for 30 exams, like IIT, JEE, UPSC, SSC, etc. And that has been the journey so far. And in the new product, what we did was we got them the live classes from the best educators. And it's been almost an year. And now we have almost 90,000 paid subscribers, active paid subscribers within just 12 months. And last month we hit a ARR of $30 million. So it has been a great journey since we launched the subscription product.
In fact, Gaurav Munjal, ladies and gentlemen, put out a tweet on the day of the union budget. I think when all of us had just finished listening to the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman speak. I'll quote that tweet of Gaurav Munjal. He says, "I don't usually post business updates, but this one is too good to ignore. 1 year back, Unacademy launched its subscription product for learners across the country to access live classes from the best educators for various examinations. Today, we hit $30 million ARR. You've just informed this. You're obviously very proud of this business update. Why don't you, by the way, do business updates?
I like to post business updates when we have something significant to post. And this time, this was a very significant business update. Next time I would want to do it when we probably hit 100 million ARR. Which my goal is that it should happen within this year. I like to post them, but we want to post them at major milestones When there are internal milestones, we have our internal Slack group where we post the internal stuff. Let us achieve something big, something concrete, and then let's talk about it. I don't like talking about the small achievements.
Okay, that's something great, magnanimous and great to learn about as well. But Gaurav, tell me something. You are one of the people who's proving that in India, subscription does pay off, right? Because there is an underlying feeling that people in India don't subscribe. It's always the freebies that are going to have to do well. Was that difficult to execute?
See, I mean, it is a difficult business to execute. It is a difficult product to execute. But we took a lot of bold bets. For example, last year we were experimenting with selling some courses individually, where if an educator is teaching a course, we would take a percentage cut for that. And that business was doing well, but it was not blitzscaling. It was not powerful. And we told our investors that for 1 month we will not make any revenue. And we have this idea that if a person is preparing for an exam, and we will give them everything. For example, for JEE, you get the best quota teachers, or for UPSC, you get best teachers from Delhi to teach you live. And today we have the infrastructure to support that. I think that would be very powerful. And that's at 1/5 of the cost. So today, if an aspirant wants to go to Kota and study, the coaching center cost is around 1 lakh, and then you have accommodation and everything, that's around 2 lakhs. Our annual subscription for IIT JEE is 30,000. Now, when people started seeing that the value that they are getting hundreds of teachers, and that is significantly better than what the other alternative is. I think so. So it's not just subscription; it's what you offer needs to be significantly better. And once you can do that, subscription is a good business model, and it's something that we have seen people pay for if they are getting value. For example, in the first month of our subscription launch, 70% of transactions were for people subscribing for 1 month. Today, only 28 to 30% people subscribe for 1 month. They subscribe for longer duration subscription plans like 6 months or 12 months because there is more belief in the system.
So tell me something, Gaurav, in this journey of Unacademy, where you're really trying to pioneer competitive exams and how people prepare for it, have you been able to get data to see that which are the competitive exams more Indians are sitting for, which are the ones that are most sought out for? Like, I would imagine it would perhaps be the IITs, like you were just talking about in the UPSC. Is it still that?
See, we have almost 32 examinations. So from a state level examination like Kerala PSC to CSIR, NTA, SSC, banking, railways, for example, we are seeing a lot of people. We are seeing a lot of people prepare for the railway examinations. And in some of these examinations, we don't even have great offline businesses because the real estate cost is too high, and our subscription cost is so low that there won't be a sustainable offline business. But if you get them great live classes and content online, big businesses you can build a big business out of those categories. That's why you have a high margin business for IIT JEE where the ARPU is they are high ARPU categories, and that can well sustain the high real estate costs. But what we are seeing is there are so many new categories that are performing very well, where the average subscription cost is low. For example, my IIT JEE for a 1 month subscription is around 7,000. It's cheaper if you take for 12 months, but for railways examination, it's just 900 rupees. But we are seeing massive amount of students. We almost have more than 20,000 students for the more than around 15,000 students for the railway examinations. So I think we have been able to figure out a playbook and scale it across examinations. And we don't just want to be the best organization for competitive examinations. Eventually, we want to go into other sectors and win those sectors as well. Because the DNA is by DNA we are a very strong technology company, which solves most problems through product innovations.
I take that point, and can you also tell us what your success rate is, because that's obviously going to be very important as well.
So within the next 2 weeks, we are about to announce our learning outcomes for 2 examinations whose results have come out, and you'll have to wait for my tweet then.
Okay. If I could also ask you that who is your biggest competitor in the market, and are you leading it, or is it still Baiju, which is in a slightly different sphere as well?
See, there are other players in the K-12 market, but I think in the online test prep market, we are the largest player, both in terms of number of users, or in terms of number of paid subscribers, or just in terms of the impact that we are creating. We are far ahead than anyone else out there. For example, we do almost 2,000 live classes across various examinations on a daily basis. There are other players who might, the second best player does 100. So that's the difference.
So where do you find the teachers?
So we have a very strong model. So I think, when we started off, when we were not making any money for the first 3 years, one of the models that we solved properly was acquisition of teachers, because we were getting them for the free platform that we were building, which still exists, by the way, and does a lot and lots of views. So 80% of our teachers are homegrown. They came first time on our free platform, they started creating free content, and they got a big following. And we have the data that which teachers are performing the best, and we take these teachers on Unacademy Plus. And then we also have an acquisition team that goes out there and tries to get the best teachers from offline institutes or from the offline world who come and teach online, because they can create a much larger impact online. So these are the two places that teachers come from.
Okay, and Gaurav, I have to ask you this one question as well. Startup universe में कुछ खबर है, कुछ buzz है that you might be working something with cricketers. What's that about? Can I ask you that?
So we have a road safety cup coming where you will see some great players from, I think, across 5 countries playing 11 matches, and we are the title sponsor for that series.
So because I have to say this, and it was a trend we started noticing.
So now that we have hit product market fit, the idea is to do more mass media marketing. So to reach out to as many students as possible, because we want to tell them that without going to an institute offline, or without changing your city, it is possible to get the same quality, even better quality of education at your home at 1/5 the cost.
And this is not the first time you're trying to do things like this, right? We've seen how there have been sponsorship for when it comes to the viral fever, the quota factory, and all of that. But Gaurav, I want to ask you one question, which is that when you're trying to inspire kids to dream big, that they can be at their home and dream big and pass the competitive exams and all of that, how big a barrier is language? And do you have plans around that?
See, in fact, 80% of our content consumption on the platform is non-English. And then the Kerala PSC entire category is in Malayalam. So what we do is we figure out the top 3 languages of that exam, and then we get the teachers accordingly. So our platform is completely vernacular. At this point also, there may be 20-30% classes going on which are non-English, non-Hindi. So we are very heavily vested into the vernacular bit.
Can I also ask you?
See, at the end of the day, we find out that what does our target audience want, and if they want to prepare for an exam in a particular language, it's our job to give it to them.
Would you agree with me that EdTech these days is a very hot space? You're seeing a lot of fundraise when it comes to the EdTech space. I'm sure even after Nirmala Sitharaman's union budget, the announcements around EdTech, there's a lot of excitement and buzz over here. And is that a big opportunity for you?
I mean, I think we are one of the reasons that it has become a hot space, because we have been a huge innovator in this space, and we have constantly built products, and we have done marketing which is quite unconventional and quite innovative. I mean, our recent campaign where we came out with the slogan "Let's crack it" also, it's so students can relate to that. But when we started, it was founders should not start companies because there is a hot space. They should start companies because it's a big problem to solve. And if you build something that people want and the market is big enough, and you solve a problem at scale using innovation, I think the space will become hot. E-commerce became hot because of Flipkart, and then eventually Amazon came. Similarly, I think Unacademy is one of the major reasons that EdTech has become hot and will continue to be like that.
Do you guys make money? Are you profitable?
At this point, we are not profitable. At this point, we are investing into growth. but our unit economics are pretty solid, so we can be profitable whenever we want to, but we keep launching more categories. There are at least 30% of our categories which are very high gross margin positive. They are doing gross margins of more than 65%, and we are profitable in some of those categories. But since the aim is to build the best platform for examinations and eventually in other categories also, we need to keep using our playbook to launch more categories.
Can I ask you what your valuation is and your overseas plans? You know, you did go to Indonesia. What you're solving, what you're solving is not just for India, it can be replicated around the world.
Yes, we did some experiments where we experimented for few examinations outside the country in Indonesia and Brazil, and they are experiments right now. So I don't have any major update on them. Once I have, I will tell you. Our last round's valuation, which we raised a couple of months back, was around $225 million post-money. We had raised $50 million led by SteadView, and Sequoia and Nexus and Bloom participated in the round. And the pre-money was around $175 million.
Gaurav, before I let you go, tell me, how did you start? Like
but when we raised the round, and today we are almost sitting at 4.5x revenue since the time we raised the round.
Yeah, and like you said, you're putting it back in there, you've got the product fit, now you're looking at mass marketing. And I've got to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you this as an avid cricket fan as well. We've seen a sea change in the commercials and the activities around cricket. You know, this time, for example, when the World Cup happened, we didn't see the regular guys, we didn't see the heroes, we didn't see the Pepsis, the Coca-Cola so much. You saw more of the new age companies, you know, whether it was Farm Easy or Paytm and stuff like that.
We had the Dream 11s of the world.
Dream 11s. So, are you betting big on that area? You said you're launching this title sponsorship for safety. You're planning to work with cricketers and all of that. Are we going to see a lot more activity?
See, we are experimenting. Like you said, we did a bunch of experiments with YouTube web series, which is like Kota Factory. And then we launched our Anthem, which was a rap song by Nazy and the Gully Boy team. And then now we are doing something in cricket. So we'll do experiments on a bunch of places, and wherever things are working well for us and we are able to reach the right target audience, we'll double down on that.
I'm going to ask you one very cheeky question. I don't know if you like it. You know, we saw the licensing agreement between Disney and Baiju. Since you're such a massive Harry Potter fan, have you ever approached them for any kind of a licensing?
I mean, I don't want to talk about other competitors or the deals that they are making, but I think for a student who is preparing for an examination right now, what the student needs is the right set of teachers and content instead of something, you know, something very animated or something made by a production house. If we are able to get, so you should see our live classes, they are very genuine. Compared to recorded videos, our live classes are very engaging. It almost feels like you are in a classroom. Like the teacher would suddenly say, why have you not done your homework, or why you are not paying attention, or you know, there is a real-time poll that they would give, and if a student answers it wrong, they would say the name of the student. It's very engaging and interactive. So I think what we have solved for is something bigger, and maybe I don't want to comment on other deals, but maybe they are targeting a different segment where live is not needed and where they are catering to a different kind of audience that needs a different kind of content visualization. So it's by the way, it's not a tricky question.
No, I didn't say tricky, I said cheeky. But Gaurav, you know, since you're doing these live classrooms and you're solving it for the postgraduates, the competitive exams and all of that, have you ever considered maybe doing it for the class 10, class 12 levels as well? Have you thought of that?
Yes, and I think we will. I think we'll go big in the K-12 category very soon.
Or you could be looking at something.
Probably in another year.
Okay.
But I think that will be a very major category for us.
Yeah, because, and you know, you've seen a union budget announcement also around this.
I don't think the problem has been solved in the right way there.
Okay. Okay. With that, Gaurav, I'd like to thank you for being so patient and giving us this interview. Here's wishing you and the entire team at Unacademy all the very best.